Hey, Steve Zook, welcome back to Pokesue channel on the Guitar Ladder System. Hey, this is kind of a neat guitar. It's 749. It's a JZ2. Some people say it has a solid top. It might be a top that's actually like 2 or 3 layers. It's kind of hard to say for sure, but it sure sounds. It's got that kind of solid wood sound, but I'm not guaranteeing that. But it's really a nice sounding guitar. It's got some old strings which are having a little trouble intonating. It might need some slight adjustments here on the intonation adjustments, or it could just be the strings. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, old strings don't intonate as well. But what I want to talk about today is unbrainwash yourself, because and I'm going to be blunt, but I recently had, like a lot. I don't have a lot of time to chase people, so when people ask for a sample of the guitar ladder system, I'm not like some companies that have an automatic email that keeps sending out, extra emails all the time trying to bug people. So, I may not even send samples anymore because it seems like it's a waste of time sometimes because people just forget about it. Best thing to do is to call me, check out my Bandcamp, check out my original music to see if you think I know what I'm talking about. I'm just being honest. Just go to stevezook1.bandcamp.com. That's the number one, and then dot is just not DOT but a dot. Or you can just Google Steve Zook Bandcamp, or go to Steve Zook, the number one, Steve Zook number one dot, just a dot, bandcamp.com. Check out my compositions. Go to Vintage Guitar Magazine, which is vintageguitar.com. Put in Steve Zook. Read the review of my CD. Folks, I know what I'm talking about. But it just seems like some people want to make me squeak, I had a guy a while back that contacted me. I think he emailed me at my stevezook7@yahoo.com, and he asked for some samples of the guitar ladder system. And then, okay, so I sent him some samples, and I also sent him some videos, and he got back with me and said, well, I can't just make a decision on the videos. I had already sent samples as well. I guess he didn't see them, so I resent them. And then he got back to me and said, well, I need to see a table of contents, and I was just like, well, I don't really have a table of contents, and, and it's too bad we couldn't come together because he could have learned a lot, and I probably wasn't the nicest person in my emails. I just get burned out. I felt like he was asking me to jump through hoops. If he would have tried my samples first and then asked some more questions, but, you got to understand, if somebody can totally, I think we're all so brainwashed in today's world to see, like a list of, okay, it does this, and then it does this, and then it does this, and 1 through 10 is diatonic harmony, 1 through 10 through 20 is intervallic, 20 through 30 is symmetrical. If somebody's putting that in that much definition, they don't know what they're talking about, because music is not that simple. Music is kind of a Zen thing. In order to give people a little bit more something to wrap your heads around, what I do in my 100 studies of the guitar ladder system is I teach the 10 different systems of improvisation, like diatonic, common tone, intervallic, polychords, inversions, secondary dominant, flat 5 sub, things like that. But it's inside the material. Now I want you to listen to this very carefully, because this is really a major point. I'm 68. When I studied with Joe Pass when I was like 21, he said, Steve, if you really want to grow as a musician and a composer, you need to improvise with chords. And a good way to do it is to start doing chord melody. But he said also just start improvising, find ways to put chords together that's musical. Okay, so now I want you to really think about that. That was Joe Pass. He didn't say to me, come up with a really, work on diatonic and then work on symmetric and then work, There's a very powerful part of your subconscious mind that kind of creates a musical ear. So my point just saying, if I overdefine any guitar system that overdefines things, it's kind of a little bit of bullshit, but it might be good for some people if that's what you need. But I mean, if you just want to, I guess what I'm saying is you have to kind of trust me, as crazy as it sounds in today's world, because my chord studies are very musical. They're almost like small little pieces, they're very musical. Like if you take cycle 1, it's very musical, okay? Now we don't have to go back through and say, oh, major 7 to diminished 7, passing chord to a 2 chord, because great music does not stick to one form of improvisation. It's great music uses a variety of things. And you talk to any really great artist, Miles Davis, John McLaughlin says any chord can follow any chord. My point being, and I apologize if I came off a little rude in my emails to this guy. I'm usually really, really patient, but I just felt like he wanted me to jump through hoops. I felt like he was auditioning me. But in the beginning, when he first emailed me, he was very complimentary of my playing. So he gave me some respect and seemed to sense that I know what I'm talking about. But I felt like he was trying to get me to jump through hoops. So, okay, well, now I need to see this, and now I need to see this. He hadn't even tried my studies yet. So my point just being, and I'm not trying to put anybody else down. There's, everything that out there you can learn something from. But if you're intermediate level player to advanced level player and you want to build your ear, which is really where it's at, if you want to, get more musical, if you want to get more musical, I need to change strings. If you want to be more musical and wake up your musical ear and discover your own harmonic implications, your own unique musical point of view, that's what the guitar ladder system does. But I don't like send out a definition of it, like I said, because every study in the guitar ladder system uses a combination of improvisational elements. It's not like, because if you stick to just strictly diatonic harmony, your music's going to be really boring and your ear's going to be boring. And if something is too structured, you're actually brainwashing yourself to stay more left brain, and that's not where the tremendous growth is. We're trying to push your musical ear more into a right brain subconscious thing. Pat Metheny calls it progressive learning. You can do this. I think Joe Pass even called it chord families. He says when he hears one chord, he hears another chord and then another chord. It's about learning how to put chords together in a way that's musical, and your subconscious picks up the interior and exterior movement of the chords. But like I said, and there's so many things out there like, well, learn how to play blues licks over the whole guitar in 20 minutes, and I don't know. Everybody's got their thing, and God bless everybody. But I've been studying subconscious mind and neuroplasticity and doing transcendental meditation for 37 years, and I'm telling you, a big part of the guitar ladder system is letting your own subconscious mind piece things together. That being said, it doesn't mean there's a lot of knowledge there is not a lot of knowledge in the guitar ladder system. There is, but we don't need to define it verbally, because when you do, then you start to limit your understanding of it. You start to put it into a box. One of my favorite CDs is Kinda Blue by Miles Davis. It's just brilliant because it's interesting and has depth, but also has simplicity. And when he wrote that, he didn't think, oh, okay, I'll use, intervallic improvisation, and then I'll use, 1-6-2-5, and then I'll use this. He heard the music, and then he created it. So what I'm talking about here is ear training. If something is overly defined, it may not be the best, way for you to grow. Now, if you're kind of in the beginning stages, maybe beginning of intermediate, and you don't know that a major 7 is 1 3 5 7, a minor 7 is 1 flat 3 5 flat 7, that knowledge is good to have. But even at a beginning or intermediate stage, probably more intermediate, when music goes into your subconscious mind and goes into your ear and really quickly transfers into like almost like a file, like a it's called neuroscience. It goes into a file, or it gets stored in your subconscious mind. So my point just being, my guitar ladder system, this guy goes, well, I kind of want something a little more organized, and I can appreciate that, but he's kind of missing the point. The whole point of it is organized, but it's structured to allow your subconscious mind to soak it up. In other words, if you sit there and you play this, you don't need to go back and analyze it. You're soaking it up. Your mind is seeing what the chord form looks like. These strings are having a little trouble intonating because they're old. But my point just being, like, even something as simple as like doing like a bichord, which is this is two chords at once, like a major 9 and a minor 7, and then go into a little contrary motion. My point just being is that there is structure and organization to the guitar ladder system, but it's more geared toward the subconscious mind. You don't need to go through my studies and analyze them and say, okay, at this point it's intervallic, and then at this point it's polychords, and at this point it's inversion to inversion, and then at this point it's diatonic harmony. When you over define things, you limit yourself. Now, sure, there's some things in life that we need to define, but this actually carries over into much more than just guitar. But I'm just trying to make the point that, if you're interested in really becoming better, isn't this back beautiful? If you're really interested in becoming better on the guitar, go to Steve Zook, or just Google Steve Zook Bandcamp, or go to Steve Zook, the number 1, not spelled out, and then the dot, stevezook1.bandcamp.com. Listen to 4 or 5 of my composition. Listen to Gray's Mountain. In fact, I composed a piece that was a tribute to John McLaughlin, a nylon piece, and I was able to get it to him, which was amazing. And he actually got back with me and thanked me for it and really liked it. It's called Transformation. I can email that tune to you if you want to hear it. But my point just being, and I don't love having to brag about myself, but my CD is reviewed at Vintage Guitar Magazine. Stephen Stone, the great guitar collector, educator, studio engineer, called me a prodigious composer and player. Listen to some of my music at stevezook1.bandcamp.com, or just Google that. Google Steve Zook Bandcamp. Read the review of my CD at Vintage Guitar Magazine. Just go to vintageguitar.com, put in Steve Zook. I know what I'm doing, folks, but my main point here is that I'm not going to come up with some cute little, like I see these things all the time on the net, like, learn the magic trick of playing great lead guitar up and down the neck without having to, whatever, people, to me, and I'd probably sell more courses if I bullshitted people more, but my course is for the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is so powerful. We don't need some cute little thing. Bottom line, though, is that, this guy that emailed me was looking for some cute little answer, like, studies 1 through 10 are diatonic, studies 10 through 20 are, flat 5 sub and secondary dominant, and, studies, 30 through 40, or, every study combines different elements of the 10, 11, 12 systems of improvisation. And actually, by defining them, you slow down the way your subconscious mind absorbs them. I know what I'm doing, folks. So like I said, and I'm not trying to rag on this guy. I appreciate his interest. But like I said, he started, kind of firing demands at me. I just felt like it was kind of arrogant and egotistical when, his first email to me showed me some respect. But that's his prerogative. If he's looking for something else, that's fine. But, he could have really got, and he sounds like he's an advanced player. He could have got a lot out of this. So anyway, I'm just saying that, it's like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said, you have to Bruce Lee said at some point he let go of the different genres of martial arts and just all just martial arts, and he created his own system of martial arts. Kind of the same thing in music. If you really want to grow as a musician, even great players like Eric Johnson have said this, if you want to grow as a musician, you need to, it's best if you don't marry a genre. I've studied flamenco, concert level classical guitar, I studied jazz, fusion, piano, composition, all kinds of things. But I'm mainly talking about the guitar ladder system here. If you're looking for a lot of cute little definitions and stuff, then it's maybe not for you. If you understand that music it's a little bit of a mystical thing. The universe will share ideas with you, and your own subconscious mind will share ideas with you, but you need to be familiar with the foundation. You need to be familiar with the language of improvisation. Like I said, diatonic, flat 5 sub, secondary dominant, intervallic, polychords, on and on and on. But we don't need to define them, and if we present that material to you and your subconscious mind in a way that it is defined in a box, then you're sending signals to your own subconscious mind to put it in a box. And if you put it in a box, you're not going to grow as much. You need to respect and nurture and seed, like planting a seed in soil, the subconscious mind. So again, you know, I wasn't trying to be rude to this guy, but I'm not sure if he and that's his prerogative. You know, if he wants, you know, over definition, that's fine. But I'm just telling you, if you really want to grow, if you want to take a quantum leap in your guitar playing, just go to stevezookguitars.com, order the guitar ladder system, invest the $199. It's going to work for you. I don't send it all at once. I send a little at a time, but it really works because you learn chord families like Joe Pat, like I said. And again, I can't use a better example. Joe Pass said to me, you know, if you really want to grow as a musician, you know, you need to get into chordal improvisation. And he wasn't just saying chord melody. His point was learning how to be musical with chords and how chords go together to form different kinds of tension and resolution, different kinds of moods. Like this major 13 goes to the 7 sharp 5 sharp 9, 13 9. But anyway, that's like I said. If you really want to grow as a musician and you can afford $199. And feel free to call me. I love it when people call me. I'm not going to try to slam dunk you. I want people to understand the guitar ladder system and the fact that we respect the subconscious mind. And there is organization in the guitar ladder system, but it's inside the studies. When you do one study, like, you don't have to define it. Your subconscious mind's like, oh, okay, you know, I see how this works. And then it starts combining the different studies subconsciously to create new ideas. And if I put everything into a box and put a definition on it, then I'm putting a signal to your subconscious mind to put it in a box and everything. And then you're losing the whole point, because music is a gift from the universe, but you need to get to know the vocabulary of music. You need to understand, you know, how the different pieces go together and what those different pieces of the puzzle create harmonically and melodically speaking. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, but just learning, like I said, all the different studies, you know, like I said, some of them, like here's this study 8, it's, you know, the major 7 chords and intervals. So every cycle in the guitar ladder system has, you know, more than one improvisational approach. But like I said, if I do study 1 and then we define it, then you're going back to the left brain and saying, okay, this is how music works. You know, there's a really powerful part of your subconscious mind. It doesn't need a cute little explanation. What it needs is the experience of playing this stuff, feeding your musical ear. So that's what I wanted to say. Hey, this guitar is $749. It sounds unbelievable. I think new strings might fix it, but it needs some slight intonation adjustments from the screws here, or maybe just new strings. $749. It's got a boo-boo on the back right here. But this guitar sounds like a high-end jazz box. It just sounds beautiful. So it comes with a new gig bag. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Like I said, if you're interested in the guitar ladder system, call me. Arrange for us to have a time to talk, because I'm not going to try to slam dunk you, but you need to understand that my guitar ladder system and the way I present it is more what I call progressive learning, which is what Pat Metheny says. It's about not over-defining everything, yet within the studies there is a lot of definition and a lot of organization, but it's inside the studies, and your own subconscious mind picks up on those, you know, polychords, intervallic, symmetry, secondary dominant, flat 5 sub, diatonic, you know, polychords, bichords, all that's within the system. And that's why, again, Joe Pass said to me, if you want to make tremendous growth on your guitar and building up your musical ear, you need to get into chordal improvisation. So I rest my case. All right, folks. You can order the guitar ladder system for $199 at stevezookguitars.com. I'm not trying to brag, but I kind of have to, because I don't spend much on marketing. I've had people drive over 200 miles, pay me $100 a lesson to study with me. You're getting thousands of dollars of information for only $199 on the guitar ladder system. I do not send it all at once, because we're trying to seed the subconscious mind, and it doesn't grow that way. And like I said, all the information you need is inside the studies, and by not overly defining it and then pushing it to a left brain thing, that allows the subconscious mind to be inquisitive, start comparing and contrasting, and you'll make an absolute quantum leap. All right, folks, let's all stay positive out there. Let's not let the crazy world, you know, help us, you know, lose our positivity and positive faith, because the universe is perfect by design. Focus on perfection.